Okay, I want to tell you the story of Richard Randolph Carr, another witness, and I'm going to keep the same vantage point from the top of this railroad underpass because it's such a good vantage point for this particular witness. And you notice I have my camera pointed directly at the courthouse annex building. We haven't really talked about the annex building much yet, but we're fixing to. This annex building obviously held a lot of overflow from the courthouse, but it also contained the sheriff's department. So our next video with our next witness, he will be located standing in front of this building because he's in the sheriff's department, and that's what the sheriff's building was, but we'll get to him. Right now we're talking about Richard Randolph Carr. He was on the 7th floor of this new, at the time it was a new building, it was the new courthouse annex building right on the corner of Houston and Maine. And he said that he was standing on the 7th floor looking out a window, I don't know which window, and just before JFK was shot, Carr said that he looked across and he could see, now we can't see from here, but he could see from his vantage point the Texas School Book Depository, which is hidden behind those trees. And he saw in the 6th floor what he thought was a heavy set man. Wait for this train to go by. He saw a heavy-set man with horn-rimmed glasses and a tan sport jacket on the 6th floor of the Texas School Book Depository. Now, if you look at a picture, we've already identified because of the fingerprint, Mac Wallace was the man in that 6th floor because his fingerprint was found there in that sniper's nest. Well, if you see any pictures of Mac Wallace, it fits this description completely. He was a little overweight, a little heavy set, and he wore horn-rimmed glasses. And so this is further confirmation that Mac Wallace, in addition to the fingerprint, we now have a visual image of him in that window in the sniper's nest. So we now know who was in the Texas School Book Depository. After the shooting, Carr said the man emerged from the building, and he just watched him. And the reason he could watch him is because the man, this is what Richard Randolph Carr said, this man, walking very fast, proceeded on Houston Street south to Commerce Street. So that means he's walking this way. Commerce Street is right there. So he's walking right in front of Richard Randolph Carr, who is still in the 7th floor window watching him the entire way. And he said he walked south to Commerce Street onto Record Street. The man got into a 1961, so we're about over here now. The man got into a 1961 or 62 gray Rambler station wagon, which was parked just north of Commerce Street on Record Street. All of this was visible by Richard Randolph Carr from his 7th floor vantage point, which was smack dab in the middle of all these movements of what we now believe was Mac Wallace. Now, Carr's story was not believed by the authorities. The Warren Commission didn't even call him as a witness. They didn't even include him in any of the published testimony. According to Richard Randolph Carr, who went to the FBI afterwards to tell his side of the story, he said the FBI agent told him that, quote, if you didn't see Lee Harvey Oswald in the school book depository window with a rifle, you didn't see it. Nevertheless, Richard Randolph Carr stuck to his story. Not long after, several members of the Dallas Police Department raided his. They said they were looking for stolen goods. They didn't find it, and he wasn't charged with any offense. He also received threatening phone calls telling him to leave Texas. So he did. He moved to Montana. He got to Montana. You know, it's almost a sure indicator if you've seen something that is real and could hurt somebody, if you've seen something that is credible, if you've seen something that is incriminating, and you stick to that story, something bad's going to happen to you, right? Well, they threatened him. He moved to Montana, and when he got to Montana, he found dynamite taped to his car ignition. And then when he was called to testify in the late 60s in the Clay Shaw trial in New Orleans, when he got there, a gunman tried to kill him. And then in Atlanta, a little while later, there was another attempt on his life. Someone tried to stab him. Actually, it was a couple guys, 2 men. And unfortunately for them, Richard Randolph Carr turned out to be somebody you don't mess with, because he managed to kill one of the 2 men who attacked him. So Richard Randolph Carr saw something that people were afraid would get out and see the light of day. And so they threatened him. He moved. They tried to kill him multiple times. In the end, he ended up killing one of his attackers. But this is the story of Richard Randolph Carr, and the important part of his testimony is that he saw what appeared to be Mac Wallace in the Texas School Book Depository, and he saw him escape in a Nash Rambler station wagon, a light-colored Nash Rambler station wagon. Remember that, because it's going to come up again, and it's going to corroborate or fall in line with another witness who tells a similar story, this time about Lee Harvey Oswald. Anyway, that's the story of Richard Randolph Carr.